Anyway, at first, over the past few years, these lanterns here, and a lovely one-show sofa, have become really fashionable at parties, weddings and all sorts of family celebrations.
Yeah, there's no doubt that they light up the sky in a pretty spectacular way, but as Dom reports, they could have a darker and potentially more dangerous side.
The early hours in Luton, CCTV footage shows a paper lantern floating over a car park. Carried by the breeze, it becomes lodged under a car bumper. Within minutes, a shocking scene unfolds. Soon the car is well and truly alight. The firefighters finally bring it under control, but the car's a wreck. And this isn't a one-off. In Bury, another car was written off. One show viewer, Jacqueline Webb, suspected arson, but an investigation revealed it was a road lantern. And 3-year-old Kyle Jones was badly injured by hot wax falling from a lantern released at a family party in Wrexham. These things are causing quite some controversy. The Coast Guard blame them on hundreds of false call-outs. The Civil Aviation Authority say don't use them near any airports, and the National Farmers Union wants an outright ban on them after numerous reports of animals dying after eating them. So how do they work? Well, there's a fuel cell there which you light. The air inside the lantern heats up and they rise up into the nighttime sky, giving a spectacular display. The image of lanterns is a powerful one. ITV used them in a channel ident, and a high street bank has featured them in an advertising campaign. Here in Trowbridge, a Chinese lantern from a neighbour's party somewhere down the street drifted across to this house. It was late at night and the whole family were fast asleep. The lantern was still alight and it landed on a part-built extension to the rear of the property, right next to where 2 young children were asleep.
Yeah, we'd gone to bed, as I had done, every other Saturday night. And the next thing I knew, one of the neighbours was banging on the door, saying to get out because the house was on fire. It was only when I took the children out into the garden that we could see the flames. And then, yeah, it was quite scary, particularly as where we were sort of looking at the fire, it was right next to where Amelia had been asleep, sort of 30 seconds earlier. Well, the fire brigade found a damaged Chinese lantern up on the roof. I think on this occasion we were very lucky because I've got 2 lovely children and I think things could have been very different.
Firefighter Glyn Moody was there on the night and is now the investigating officer.
Without the neighbours noticing this at the time they did, I think 2 or 3 hours later, we had the potential for this to have been a fatal fire with 3 occupants in the house.
The Chief Fire Officers Association is calling for a government review of the sale and use of sky lanterns. They say a ban should be looked at seriously. Although they recognise there's a balance to be considered, they argue that the safety issues outweigh other considerations. Glastonbury. Such are organiser Michael Evis's concerns about the lanterns, he's banned them from the festival. But as people are still sneaking them in, he's working with Devon and Somerset Fire Service to minimise the danger they pose. Remnants of lanterns have already killed some of his livestock and the potential danger to people is frightening.
I've got thousands and thousands of tents, but 180,000 people, I mean, they're all living in tents. And so just imagine if they catch fire with the wind going and the fire goes from one tent to another, you've got a huge problem. They should be banned like they are in Germany and in Australia because they are a real menace.
There's no doubt about it. These lanterns do look stunning in a nighttime sky. And the manufacturers, along with trading standards, say that if you are going to use them, follow the safety instructions and then they're safe. But with so many stories starting to emerge about how things have gone wrong, it does make you wonder, is now the time that maybe we put the lights out on these lanterns?
That's a good question, Dom. And Justin, you've had a bit of a run, haven't you, with these Chinese lanterns quite a few years ago?
Well, I have, because like 2-3 years ago, no one really knew what these things were. And that's true, isn't it? Because
they're pretty new.
They are relatively new. I mean,
yeah.
I know they probably go back, hundreds of years in China, but they've not been commonplace in this country until about 2-3 years ago. And we had a party, garden party in the summer, and all my family were there. And about midnight, there was about 8 of us left. There was me, there was my cousin Mavis, and that's true. That is true. That is true.
Should be watching.
Yeah, all right, Maeve. Yeah. And her now husband Andy. And to be fair, we'd all had a drink.
Yeah.
And it was quite late, but I swear, I look up into the night sky, and there, hovering above Clifton Suspension Bridge, is what I thought at the time to be about 8 UFOs.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm looking and I'm pointing like a caveman pointing at the moon.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I'm looking and I'm saying, Maeve, look, can you see Andy? Can you?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we're all stood there, agog, looking at these 8 unidentified flying objects,
Yeah.
flying in formation, Matt.
Yeah.
But then they slowly kind of change, and then clearly they burn out and disappear. But I think at the time that they've just flown off at breakneck speed.
Yeah.
But the following day, the front page, if I remember rightly, the front page of the Bristol Evening Post was Chinese
lanterns.
Yeah.
I had no idea what they
And
were.
William Bones is to thank for that.
He is. William,
Will.
you're from Sky Orb Lanterns. I mean, you import these lanterns from China. It's important to say yours weren't the ones featured in the film there, although the film did put quite a strong case forward for these being banned. What would you say then?
Well, yeah, it did. It was a great film, but I think what it really highlights is that the Chinese lanterns, Sky Orbs, should be used in a responsible way. And if you follow the safety advice that's on the packaging, it's going to be fine.
Right, and you say that yours are actually safer than other Chinese lanterns that are out there. So just talk us through. Yours is this red one here, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's start with the white one. Why they're not safe?
Okay. Well, the white ones. The first thing about it is the actual balloon itself will burn.
Yeah.
And if you just flick back to the clip we had a minute ago, the balloon that came down on the car was already alight.
Yeah.
Ours won't do that. The red one won't do that because it's a flame retardant balloon. Okay. The next thing is the fuel cell. If you look at the white one there,
This one here.
that.
yeah, that's separate. You've got to attach that yourself to the wire frame, which is going to mean it's slightly prone to fall off.
That's made from wax, isn't it? Which
That's
is the
wax,
wax
yeah.
we saw on the child's face.
Yeah, or something
Yeah.
very similar to it. And on the Sky Orbs balloon there, it's a solid fuel cell. It's made from cardboard and cotton.
Yeah.
And as you can see, it's already attached securely to the balloon, so it's not going to fall off.
Yeah.
Okay, the only time that's going to come down is when the fuel cell is burned out.
Right. But to be fair, as we heard there, in Australia and Germany, they have been banned, so there's obviously a reason for it.
Well, quite right. In Australia, it's obvious it's a tinder dry country a lot of the time. Actually, the ban's been lifted in Germany, and that happened in January.
All right.
Okay. And on the instructions, it says that you shouldn't light them and let them go if the wind is more than 5 miles an hour. But I mean, to the average person in a party, how do you know, when a wind is over 5 miles an hour?
Okay, well, most people can walk at 4 miles an hour. Justin can probably wobble with a drink at 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you let go a normal balloon, if you can walk after it, then fine. If you can't catch it, then don't do it. The leaves blowing in the trees will give you a good idea too.
Okay. Thanks,
Okay.
William. Everyone's now going to go out and start measuring wind speed with the speed that they walk. Anyway, there you
Yeah.
go. Thanks again.
Okay, it's day 2.